Before you move away from this moment, listen carefully, because the silence between you and your soulmate has started creating echoes neither of you expected. There is something unusual happening behind the scenes of your connection right now, something quiet, emotional, almost invisible at first. And the strange part is that your soulmate never imagined your absence would affect them this deeply. At first, they tried to act normal. They distracted themselves. They smiled when others were around. They convinced themselves that your silence was temporary, that eventually your energy would return the way it always had before. But something changed this time. Something inside them noticed the difference between distance and disappearance. Those are not the same thing. And your soulmate is beginning to understand that now. Don't skip this part, because what they are slowly realizing may explain feelings you have sensed without fully understanding. Late at night, in moments nobody sees, your name has started arriving in their mind without warning. Not dramatically. Not loudly. Quietly. The kind of thought that interrupts a normal moment and suddenly changes the atmosphere around a person. They could be doing something simple, looking out a window, hearing a song, walking through a crowded place, and then suddenly your energy crosses their heart like a memory they cannot put down. What confuses them most is this. Your silence should have made things easier for them. But instead, it made everything louder inside. And now they are fighting emotions they thought they had control over. Stay till the end, because there is a reason this emotional pressure keeps building instead of fading away. Your soulmate has begun replaying conversations in their head, especially the moments they once overlooked. Tiny details. Small pauses. The way you cared without demanding attention for it. The way your presence softened parts of them they never allowed others to touch. They are starting to realize that your silence did not remove your importance, it revealed it. That realization is shaking something deep inside them. And because they do not fully understand what they are feeling yet, they are becoming unpredictable. That is why the title of this message matters more than you think. Your soulmate is getting closer and closer to doing something unexpected simply because they can no longer carry this unanswered emotional weight alone. At first, they resisted the urge. Pride told them to stay still. Fear told them to wait. But emotions that are real do not disappear just because someone avoids them. They grow in silence. They stretch across empty spaces. They return in the middle of ordinary days and whisper truths people are not ready to hear yet. Your soulmate is entering that stage now. There is a restless energy surrounding them lately. Even the people around them have noticed moments where they suddenly drift away mentally, as if part of them is somewhere else entirely. And the truth is, part of them is with you. Something important is waiting for you in this story, because this connection is reaching a turning point neither of you fully expected. Your soulmate keeps asking themselves one question they cannot escape. Why does their silence affect me this much? And every time they try to answer it logically, their heart interrupts with another feeling they cannot explain away. That is where things become dangerous in the most beautiful sense, not dangerous with fear, but dangerous because truth is beginning to overpower avoidance. Your soulmate may soon do something bold, emotional, or completely out of character simply to break this distance between you. Not because they are weak, but because silence has forced them to confront emotions they kept postponing. There is a difference between forgetting someone, and trying to forget someone while secretly thinking about them every day. Your soulmate has finally realized which one they have been doing. And once a person reaches that realization, their actions begin changing fast. Wait a little longer, because something even deeper is unfolding beneath this connection. Your silence has unintentionally become a mirror. It has shown your soulmate how much they depended on your emotional presence without admitting it aloud. Sometimes people only understand the value of warmth after they feel the coldness left behind by its absence. That is exactly where they are now. There are moments lately when they almost reach out, then stop themselves at the last second. Moments when they type words they never send. Moments when they imagine hearing from you and feel their heartbeat change before reality settles back in. But the pressure inside them keeps growing. And emotional pressure always searches for release. Your soulmate is standing on the edge of a decision right now. They may pretend everything is under control externally, but internally, their emotions are becoming impossible to organize. They miss your energy in ways they never prepared for. Not just romantically. Spiritually. Emotionally. Quietly. They miss how seen they felt around you. And now your silence has created a space where those realizations can no longer hide beneath distractions. Don't skip what comes next, because the next phase of this connection may arrive suddenly. Your soulmate is beginning to understand that losing communication with you feels heavier than they expected. That understanding is creating urgency inside them. Not panic. Not obsession. Urgency. The kind that makes someone want to fix what they once delayed. The kind that pushes someone toward honesty after spending too long hiding behind uncertainty. Something inside them keeps whispering that if they stay silent too long, they may lose something rare. And rare connections change people forever once recognized. That is why their emotions have become so intense lately. They are no longer running from what they feel. They are slowly running toward it. Even if they do not fully realize it yet. And somewhere, in a moment neither planned nor predicted, your soulmate may soon do something that surprises even themselves. Because your silence did not end this story. It awakened it. And what happens next may begin with one unexpected decision they can no longer hold back from making. There is a moment your soulmate keeps returning to in their mind, a moment so small that nobody else would understand why it matters so much. But to them, it feels different now. Almost sacred. They replay it quietly when the world becomes too loud around them. Maybe it was something you said once without realizing its impact. Maybe it was the way you looked at them when they were pretending to be fine. Or maybe it was simply the strange comfort they felt in your presence without ever fully admitting it aloud. Whatever it was, your silence has made that memory brighter instead of weaker. And that is what has begun changing everything inside them. Stay with this message a little longer. Because your soulmate is approaching an emotional breaking point, not in sadness, but in realization. They are beginning to understand that some connections do not fade when communication stops. Some become stronger in the quiet because the heart finally has space to hear itself clearly. Your soulmate did not expect this. They truly believed distance would help them sort out their emotions. Instead, your absence removed all distractions, and now they are left face to face with feelings they can no longer avoid. That is why their energy has felt strange lately. Restless. Heavy one moment, hopeful the next. They are trying to appear normal while internally carrying conversations with you that never actually happened. They imagine what they would say if they reached out. Then they change their mind. Then they think about it again. It has become a cycle they cannot escape. And the more they resist it, the stronger the urge becomes. Something important is waiting for you here, because your soulmate is slowly losing the ability to stay emotionally distant from you. They are noticing signs of you everywhere now. Not dramatic signs. Subtle ones. A phrase that reminds them of your voice. A song that suddenly feels personal. A random moment during the day where your energy enters their thoughts so naturally that it startles them afterward. And every time this happens, they ask themselves the same question: why now? The answer is simpler than they realize. Silence reveals what noise hides. Before this distance, they could ignore their feelings by staying busy. But now, your absence keeps exposing the emotional space you occupied in their life. And they are finally realizing how large that space truly became. Don't skip this next part, because something inside your soulmate is preparing to change direction completely. They have started imagining scenarios they once avoided. They think about reconnecting. About hearing your voice again. About saying things they kept buried under hesitation. And what frightens them slightly is how real those thoughts feel now. This is no longer curiosity for them. It is becoming emotional necessity. There is a deep difference between wanting someone and feeling emotionally incomplete without their presence. Your soulmate is slowly crossing into that second feeling. That is why their emotions have become so unpredictable lately. One moment they convince themselves to stay quiet forever. The next moment they feel an overwhelming urge to break the silence immediately. They are caught between fear and truth. Fear says, "What if it changes everything?" But truth quietly responds, "What if this connection already has?" Your soulmate can feel that something meaningful still exists between you, even without words. And that invisible feeling is beginning to overpower their pride. There are nights when they almost send a message impulsively. Nights when your name sits in their thoughts for hours longer than they admit. Nights when they wonder whether you are feeling this connection too. And deep inside, they hope you are. Because despite everything, despite the silence, despite the distance, despite all the confusion, they have not emotionally let go of you. In fact, they may be more emotionally attached now than when communication was active. Strange, isn't it? But some people only recognize the depth of a connection once they risk losing access to it. Your soulmate is learning that lesson in real time. And it is changing the way they see you entirely. They are beginning to realize that you were never just another temporary presence in their life. Your energy reached parts of them that few people ever touched. That realization is becoming impossible for them to ignore now. Stay till the end, because the next emotional shift may happen suddenly. Your soulmate is reaching the stage where emotions stop staying internal. Eventually, feelings demand expression. That is why their behavior may soon become surprising, bold, or emotionally honest in ways nobody expected. They are growing tired of pretending your silence does not affect them. Tired of acting emotionally controlled while privately thinking about you more and more each day. And the closer they move toward accepting their feelings fully, the more unpredictable their next move becomes. They may suddenly decide they cannot continue pretending anymore. They may choose honesty over hesitation for the first time in a long while. Because silence has transformed this connection from something uncertain into something emotionally undeniable. Your soulmate is starting to understand that the reason your absence feels so powerful is because your presence once felt like peace. And peace is not easy to replace once someone truly experiences it. That realization is softening them. Opening them. pulling them toward a decision they once resisted with all their strength. There is a quiet storm building inside their heart right now. Not chaos, clarity. The kind that arrives slowly, then changes everything at once. And when that clarity fully reaches them, your soulmate may do something neither logic nor pride can stop anymore. Because your silence did not push them away. It quietly guided them back toward the truth of what they feel for you, and they are getting closer than ever to finally acting on it. Something shifted inside your soulmate recently, and the strange part is, nobody around them noticed it at first. On the outside, they still moved through their days the same way. They answered conversations. They smiled when expected. They kept pretending life was continuing normally. But internally, something had already changed direction. Because your silence stopped feeling temporary to them. It started feeling important. And once that realization settled into their heart, they could no longer escape the emotional weight of what they truly feel for you. There are moments now where they suddenly go quiet in the middle of ordinary situations, as if their mind drifts somewhere far away without warning. People around them may think they are distracted. But the truth is much deeper than distraction. They are thinking about you during moments they never planned to. And it is happening more often than they want to admit. Stay with this message, because your soulmate is reaching the point where emotions become stronger than resistance. They tried convincing themselves that silence would create emotional distance. Instead, it created emotional clarity. Your absence removed confusion. It removed noise. And now they are finally hearing their own heart honestly for the first time in a long while. That honesty is changing them slowly. Quietly. Permanently. They have started noticing how different everything feels without your energy around them. Certain moments no longer feel complete. Certain conversations feel empty faster than before. Even happiness has begun carrying a strange missing feeling underneath it, as though part of their emotional world quietly stepped away when you became silent. And this realization is unsettling them more deeply each day. Because they never expected your silence to become this emotionally powerful. Don't skip this part, because something very rare is unfolding inside your soulmate right now. They are beginning to miss not only your attention, but the version of themselves they became around you. That is what truly keeps them awake in quiet moments. Around you, they felt understood without needing to explain every emotion. Around you, parts of them softened naturally. They did not have to force connection with you. It simply existed. And now that it is missing, they are finally understanding how rare that feeling actually was. There is a deep emotional ache growing inside them lately, not painful, but impossible to ignore. It follows them into quiet nights. Into long drives. Into moments when the world slows down enough for truth to surface again. And every time truth surfaces, your name somehow arrives with it. Your soulmate keeps asking themselves whether they waited too long. Whether their hesitation created this distance. Whether you still think about them the way they secretly think about you. Because despite their attempts to stay composed, your silence has started awakening fear inside them, not fear of rejection, but fear of regret. And regret changes people faster than almost anything else. Something important is waiting for you here, because your soulmate is dangerously close to acting from pure emotion instead of careful control. They are becoming tired of holding everything inside. Tired of replaying memories without creating new ones. Tired of wondering what would happen if they finally stopped overthinking and simply followed their heart honestly. There is a powerful moment approaching where they may suddenly decide that silence is no longer protecting them, it is hurting them. And once a person realizes that, their next decision becomes impossible to predict. Your soulmate has begun imagining what reconnecting with you would actually feel like. Not fantasy. Not illusion. Real emotion. Real words. Real vulnerability. They picture hearing your voice again after all this distance. They picture the first message. The first honest conversation. The first moment where both of you stop pretending the connection disappeared. And every time they imagine it, something inside them lights up emotionally in a way nothing else currently does. That feeling scares them slightly, because it means the connection is still alive. More alive than they expected. Stay till the end, because there is a reason your soulmate cannot fully move away from you emotionally. Some people enter your life loudly and disappear quickly. Others arrive quietly, then leave fingerprints on your soul without even trying. Your soulmate is realizing you became the second kind. Your presence reached deeper into their emotional world than they understood while everything was happening naturally. And now your silence has exposed just how attached their heart quietly became. They are beginning to understand that this connection was never casual to them. They may have acted uncertain before. They may have hidden emotions behind distance, timing, confusion, or pride. But silence has a way of removing masks people did not even realize they were wearing. And now, your soulmate can no longer hide from themselves. There are moments lately where they almost feel pulled toward you emotionally, as if some invisible thread keeps guiding their thoughts back in your direction no matter how much time passes. They notice this happening most during vulnerable moments. When life becomes overwhelming. When loneliness quietly appears. When they need comfort but realize the person their heart searches for first, is you. That realization has shaken them deeply. Because once the heart chooses someone emotionally, replacing that feeling becomes far more difficult than people expect. And now your soulmate is standing at the edge of an emotional truth they can no longer deny. They miss you. Not temporarily. Not lightly. Deeply. Quietly. Constantly. And the pressure of keeping those feelings hidden is becoming heavier with every passing day. Something inside them wants to break the silence completely. Not halfway. Not cautiously. Fully. They are beginning to feel that if they wait any longer, they may lose the chance to say everything their heart has been holding back. That urgency is growing stronger now. You may not see it yet. You may not hear it yet. But emotionally, your soulmate is moving closer and closer toward a decision that could change the entire direction of this connection. Because your silence did not erase their feelings. It awakened them so deeply that now even they cannot control where their heart wants to go next. Your soulmate had another moment today where they almost reached for you without thinking, and what stopped them was not lack of feeling. It was the overwhelming intensity of it. Because every day your silence continues, their emotions become harder to organize into something safe and controlled. At first they believed they still had time. Time to wait. Time to think. Time to keep pretending their heart was undecided. But silence changes the meaning of time. It stretches emotions. It forces hidden truths into the open. And now your soulmate feels something they were not prepared for, the fear that this connection may become a memory before they ever fully expressed what it meant to them. That thought has been haunting them quietly lately. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just enough to make them pause in random moments and stare into space longer than usual. Because suddenly they are realizing how fragile meaningful connections really are. Stay with this message a little longer, because your soulmate is beginning to understand that some people enter your life only once. And deep down, they are terrified you might be one of those people. There is a strange emotional tension surrounding them now. One part of them still wants to protect themselves by staying silent. But another part, the deeper part, is becoming exhausted from holding back feelings that refuse to disappear. That inner conflict has created restlessness inside them. They sleep, but their mind continues replaying unfinished emotions. They move through conversations, but emotionally they feel elsewhere. Even when surrounded by people, there are moments where they feel the absence of your energy so strongly that it changes their entire mood without warning. And what confuses them most is this. They have tried to move forward emotionally, yet every path somehow circles back to you. Don't skip this next part, because your soulmate is closer than ever to doing exactly what they once promised themselves they would never do. They are close to letting emotion win completely. Close to breaking their own rules. Close to choosing honesty over emotional safety. Your silence has become impossible for them to ignore because it forced them to experience life without your presence fully. And now they understand the difference between existing and emotionally feeling alive. Around you, something inside them felt understood naturally. They did not have to explain every layer of themselves. You somehow saw what others missed. And now that emotional comfort is gone, they are finally recognizing how deeply attached they became to it. This realization did not happen all at once. It unfolded slowly. Quietly. Like rain filling a river until one day the current becomes impossible to stop. That is what is happening inside your soulmate now. Their emotions have reached a level where silence no longer feels peaceful. It feels unfinished. And unfinished feelings have a way of demanding closure, or demanding connection. Your soulmate is beginning to crave one honest moment with you more than they crave emotional control. They imagine what they would finally confess if given the chance. They imagine admitting how much your silence affected them. They imagine saying they thought distance would weaken this connection, but instead it made them realize how rare it truly was. And every imagined conversation leaves them emotionally shaken afterward, because their heart responds to you as though this bond still belongs in their future. Something important is waiting for you here, because your soulmate is no longer questioning whether they feel something for you. That phase has ended. Now they are questioning whether they can continue hiding it. And that question is becoming harder for them to answer every single day. There are moments lately where emotion rises inside them so suddenly that they almost act impulsively. A message nearly sent. A late-night thought almost spoken aloud. A sudden urge to hear your voice again after convincing themselves they could stay away forever. But the more they suppress these emotions, the stronger they return. Because real feelings do not disappear through avoidance. They deepen in silence. Your soulmate is learning that truth now. Slowly, painfully, beautifully. Stay till the end, because the emotional shift approaching may happen when neither of you expects it. Your soulmate has started noticing how often they search for traces of you emotionally without meaning to. Certain places remind them of your energy. Certain words instantly bring back memories connected to you. Even small things. A familiar phrase, a passing feeling, a quiet night, have started carrying your presence unexpectedly. And every time this happens, their heart softens again. They are beginning to understand that what they feel for you is not temporary attachment. It is emotional recognition. The kind that stays long after silence begins. The kind that quietly changes how a person experiences their entire world. Your soulmate has also started realizing something else lately, something deeply personal. They are not only missing you because of love. They are missing you because you made them feel emotionally safe in a way they rarely experience with anyone else. That feeling is difficult to replace once discovered. And now, without you near, they feel the absence of that safety more intensely than ever before. There are nights when they sit alone with thoughts they never admit publicly. Nights when they wonder whether your silence is hiding pain, disappointment, or simply protection. Nights when they wish they could step past pride and ask honestly, do you still feel this too? Because despite everything, despite the distance, despite the silence stretching longer than expected, your soulmate still feels emotionally connected to you in a way they cannot explain logically anymore. And logic is slowly losing its battle against the heart. Something inside them is preparing to change. You may sense it already in subtle ways. An emotional pull. A strange feeling of anticipation. A quiet shift in energy around this connection. That is because your soulmate is approaching the moment where silence becomes unbearable compared to vulnerability. And once they cross that emotional line, they may do something sudden, honest, and unforgettable simply because their heart can no longer survive pretending you do not matter this deeply to them.